We're now opening the May 7th, 2025 select board meeting. We have any adjustments to the agenda tonight? Hearing none. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of April 16th, 2025.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
We have a first and second. Do we have any corrections, deletions, additions? I have one deletion on the last page. I would suggest taking the second municipal planning grant out, because you have it above too.
Okay.
So with that amendment, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. Comments from the community.
So, just as a follow-up to the conversation we had last time around the shelter, at the school, I did connect with Joe Houston, and he's fine with being animals there, as long as we have crates, and Jim secured 8 crates that we have access to. So looks like that part can move forward if the board's ready to sign off on.
Great, and I think we're meeting, next week. To finalize all that. Is that true? Is that what we're reading for it?
Meeting for that and good to find out to make other arrangements.
Okay,
You had said, right, their crates.
Yeah.
Are allowed.
We have access to 8 crates, and they'll get us the ability to have animals within the gym. Secure.
thank you. Anyone else?
Just one thing, if you need another one, let me know.
These are wires from my understanding.
Or maybe to share. The one I have is 2 foot high, 2 foot wide, and 2 foot long.
I think on that topic, then I was able to, you had asked me to reach out to to our core insurance. And they said, I said.
Yeah, and I passed that along to Joe and didn't hear anything back in that regard, so I said,
Obviously, let everybody know that, Ryan had asked me to find out the liability for using the school as an emergency shelter. And so I spoke with the senior underwriter at the LCT. And she recommended that we insert a statement in our MOU that reads that the town assumes all liability during the use of Wolcott Elementary School as a town emergency shelter. And as far as the coverage, the town's current liability coverage provides 10 million per occurrence with no aggregate.
so just make the amendments to the MOU that you want to, the way you want to have it read, and then resubmit it back to the school for.
So moving on to correspondence, the Department of Housing and Community Development will be holding public hearings on their draft action plan. They've received close to $86 million. The Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funds. And so that's going to be held Thursday, May 15th, 6 to 8. I believe it's online. If you're interested, I'll leave this with Michelle. You can reach out to her if you have any comments. Also announcing the 2025 Downtown Village Center Tax Credit Program. That will be, they're due by Friday, August 1st, 2025. I believe the schoolhouse is going to be reaching out some tax credits on there.
listed, but they're credits for businesses, so they're awarded to projects that improve building safety, attract business, and create jobs. So it's open to all community.
Yeah.
What's the date on that first meeting you mentioned?
May 15th.
May 15th.
So that's when the virtual YouTube session will go.
Email.
And then all the public comments are due by 4:30 PM, May 21st. You received this in an email, but it's a thank you letter from Mr. Woods for expressing sincere gratitude for the support provided by the select board regarding the FEMA buyout of his home. Sad to leave Wolcott, but otherwise, he's just thanking us for our work in making this possible. For his 49 years investment in his home. Sliding down. And we received a donation request from the Northern Rivers Land Trust. We don't do those, they have to be an appropriation, but if someone wants to reach out. They are the people, the organization that holds the trust in our forest and hopefully soon our swamp property. It helps provide them for their stewardship plan to oversee the property. Now we'll move on to appoint town officers, Lamoille FiberNet, Fire Warden, Health Officer, Lamoille County Regional Management Representative. Mr. Patrick DeFrost, no.
No, Devin.
No. Andrew Ross.
Okay.
Andrew Ross has again expressed interest in serving on as a representative to the Lamoille FiberNet, the communication district, putting in fiber in portions of Wolcott. Served on that committee for a number of years. So we'll take a motion to appoint him.
Make a motion to appoint the FiberNet board. Second.
Have further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Next up is the fire warden. You want to explain what happened, because we did it, appoint someone at our last meeting?
So we appointed Kurt Billings and then received a mail. I sent that up to the state. And Kurt was actually in the office the same time that I received an email back from Devin. I forgot his last name, who said that the state will only approve appointees who are on or is good in actually on the fire department. So we have to now appoint somebody on the fire department.
So are you, are you were the assistant fire warden? Is that something you'd want to hold that position for? Huh?
Yeah.
You know what time?
Introducing an assistant.
Do you need an assistant?
Not at this time.
Okay. Sorry, Kurt, we didn't realize it when we appointed you. So do we have a motion to appoint Jim Holden as our fire warden?
I'll make that motion. A second.
There's a second, first and second.
That Carpenter, is that?
No, Kurt Billings. Any further discussion on that or any other candidates? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Health officer. We have a candidate who is interested in serving as our health officer.
Michael Green.
Hi, you're interested in serving?
Honest,
Huh?
animal control officer, but I fit right in, real close. They're that close. Everything happens. Animals in control includes humans and not.
Do you have any other nominations or take a motion to appoint Mike Green as our health officer?
I'll make the motion that we appoint Nate Greenfeld office.
I'll second that motion.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Loyal County Regional Management Representative. Is that the word? Anyway, as part of our local emergency operations plan, we need to appoint people to represent the county wide emergency management meetings. That'll be the final step in our plan to submit. And Ryan has, well, I believe you have to have the emergency manager as that, and then you have the other one, don't you? I don't have that in front of me. If you looked at the form.
Sorry, I'm trying to think, no.
I believe that if you look at the form, the director has to be on it. And then we're appointing, also appointing, someone else. Steve Prince said he would be willing to serve in the second seat on that. Do we have a motion to appoint Brian and Steve Prince to the Regional Emergency Planning Board?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. So they meet quarterly. They just met at the end of April. I can send you all the information that they sent me from that meeting. Thank you, everyone, for being willing to serve. Let's move on to, if no one else has anything else, we'll move on to the highway department end of year budget discussion.
So our first topic, I guess, would be our ton truck. It broke down a few weeks ago. Spent a lot of time trying to figure out what's wrong with it. I had a guy come and plug into it with a diagnostic tool. And it read a code for a bus connector, which is essentially a wire. some sort of wiring problem. So I reached out to several dealerships and it sounds like nobody can give me an answer on how much it's going to cost to fix it. The best luck that I had was with Steve Waterhouse up in Craftsbury. He sounded pretty confident that he can figure it out and get it fixed. And I said, you know, can you give me a ballpark? Because we're looking at a $20,000 fix or a $2,000 fix. And he said he's not sure exactly. Obviously, he's not knowing what's wrong with it, but he doesn't think it's going to be a $20,000 thing. He said it could be a couple, but not 100% sure.
Does it start?
No,
Because it's electrical?
right.
How much does it cost for him will he just plug it in again?
Yeah, I think he'll diagnose it. I don't know how much it would cost for him to just diagnose it.
You can tow it there as well.
Yeah, we'll have to tow it there.
Are you gonna tow it or are we gonna hire?
We can get it there. The only thing that I'm unsure of, we can get it, we can load it on our trailer and bring it there. I'm just not sure about getting it off. If he's got something there that can help us pull it down off our trailer. Sure.
You use it a lot in the summer or
We
most
do.
of it plowing?
We use it a lot in the summer. We use it to pull the York rake, we use it for chloride, go get culverts with it. Go for parts, we use it a lot.
Something.
Got that right.
Do we have possible solutions there?
Yeah. Repair it in July when the budget renews. Do we want to repair it and try to sell it? Or trade it? Do we want to get a new one? Do we want to fix this one and keep running it? It's a 2016, so it's 9 years old. I expect these little things are they're not gonna stop, you know, we'll keep running into it. Not to say we can't, you know, we might fix this problem, it might run in 3-4 years without anything going wrong, and just,
How rusty is it anyways?
it's getting pretty rusty.
So maybe only have a year to anyways, probably
We'll
on
be
it.
doing rust work to it within a year or so, yes.
You estimated it would pass inspection maybe 1 more year.
I think it'll pass inspection another year, and I think it'll pass inspection for as long as we want to keep fixing it. It's just, we'll be putting money into it.
So how much does one of these trucks cost?
How much is a new one? I haven't priced anything exactly, but I'm guessing if we were to get a new one and set it up with a cab and chassis with a body and a new plow, we're looking at between 90 and 100.
Why does it need a new plow?
The plow that we've got over there is, I don't know if it was new with that truck or what, but that thing wore out too. It just makes sense to get a new plow.
But the sanding mechanism in the back
The
is.
sander's fine. The sander we just got a few years ago. We had to do some work to that this winter, but that's fine.
How much does a regular truck cost with everything?
Like a pickup, like a regular pickup.
No, no, I mean, your Western Star. that you
Oh,
buy.
like 300.
300?
Yeah.
They are now. They're like 300 now. I think the one that we've got on,
280.
the one that we've got on order is 280, but I think if we're gonna get a new one now, there's like 300.
Just for a regular 3/4 ton, you're probably talking 70 to 100.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. 5 years ago, they're half.
Maybe.
I'm not, they might give you an answer, but I'm not gonna give you an answer now. I'd like to know what's wrong with it, and then I'd like us to work more on our equipment schedule.
Yeah.
Because that, then we can decide with the equipment schedule and our payments, equipment payment schedule, and see how we can fit it in.
Okay. You wanna wait for right now until July then? Or I
I
can,
would go and at least have it checked out to see what's wrong.
I'll start with, I'd like to call Steve and see if he would come to the shop and diagnose it here. I don't know if he'll do that or not. If he won't do that, then I suppose we can bring it up there and see what's wrong with
Might as well, then you'll be ready and we'll know in July
it. Yeah.
which way to go. We won't have to start in July.
Yep.
I just would note that you should look at the budget and that I laid in front of you guys, so if we have to pay for it in this fiscal year, because of our, just the diagnosis. It's like, it's kind of a drop in the bucket now, but comparatively, but it's gonna
That
really
means the budget won't go over.
get our needed.
Yeah. Isn't that our next step, our next conversation?
Yes.
Is it our next conversation? Are you done?
It can be.
Yeah, it can be.
So, yeah, so with where we're at right now, moving forward between now and July, we're just gonna focus on work that involves nothing more than time and people. Ditching projects. All the other stuff, runaround stuff that we've got, you know, we wanna reset a bunch of signs that are tipped over, got knocked over in the winter. Clean ditches, strip shoulder berms. Great, Jim.
Yeah, we can now officially say that we've hired Jim. As of June, what, May 29th and May 30th, his first day is June 2nd.
Paint the stop bar at the North Wolcott Road whenever it stops raining. The Lamoille Valley Rail Trail Grant Project we've got out here, we're just waiting, right?
Waiting for
green
the
light.
permit. Yep.
Yeah, so we can do that, yeah, that's pretty much it. My main focus between now and July, as far as drainage work goes, 3 roads that are highest on my radar are East Hill, Maury Hill, and Baldwin Brook. The roads are super, took a wicked beating this winter plowing. They've needed to be worked on for the past couple of years, ones that just kept kicking it down the road. So that's where my main focus is gonna be.
Also, you've done the culverts, so he's checking all the, a lot of the culverts, but prioritizing
Yep.
culvert replacement.
Yeah,
But that's also, if you want to talk about Town Hill and paving,
yeah,
so.
yeah, so my initial hope for this summer was to redo the top of Town Hill, but with the budget the way it is and we should maybe think a little differently about that. And what I'm kind of leaning toward right now is maybe this year we'll just change the culverts that are in that section of road. And then plan on repaving it next year when we have a new budget. I don't want to repave that road and make it beautiful without changing the pipes that are underneath it. If I can help it anyway.
Can you explain this, budget? I don't fully understand. Um, So we have 700, our budget was $764,032. Is that what you think? We spent $611.
You have to deduct the 115, which leaves us with $37,832. And then I added May bills, which come to $9,686. So
Holy mackerel, 96,000.
well, that includes the guardrails. So we finished the guardrails on North Wolcott Road. Those were installed, which was about 3,000. And it leaves us with $28,145. And then I have done on your other sheet, there's this sheet here that's projecting out.
So we had, after the 15,000, we had $37,832 left. Oh, we took out 9,000. I thought it was 96,000. I can't read. We have 28,000.
And then this sheet will explain what we're gonna do with that. As far as labor, I projected labor costs forward and healthcare. And then I wanted to address how to pay for gym for the month of June, which is all kind of on that sheet. Again, using that magical fund. Magical fund of the winter highway, additional part-time person. In addition to the admin assistant fund or a salary.
So we have a deficit of 7,000 plus gym purchases, which we expect to be about, shouldn't be too much. Unless we have something that really breaks.
Right.
Not the end of the world.
That does not include though the Jim's salary for June and his health insurance, so. But I think we have other funds to pay for that.
Well, isn't that what we always anticipated that, or did we anticipate it coming out of Chan, with Chan not being here?
We didn't really know, because we just received, Jim's like his actual start date, so. I just proposed that it's gonna cost roughly $6,060 for both salary and health insurance. So we would have roughly 53.51 if we assume 2,000 for training left over in that winter additional person fund, because Reno came on sooner than we thought, so we started paying him from the highway department labor fund. And then the admin assistant budget. I have that here. I didn't make a copy. But the admin, the administrative assistant fund is at 36,481. It won't be more than 40, I don't think 45, and it's projected at 60. So I'm not quite sure how Belinda has this set up, and she wasn't here to ask her if these other funds are coming from this or if she had, I'm not quite sure. But it looks like she did hold these other funds. So if we have roughly 20,000 left over in that pot and we're pulling 20 roughly, and we're pulling this other money, this this other money of a total of 60, I would think would be coming from that.
Well, we are in charge of coding where it comes out of.
Yeah.
It's up to us to decide as a board.
I'm saying there's gonna be that left.
It is what it is. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, we have to go on. We have to do what we have to do. I was just trying not to do things we didn't have to do because we had no money, but if we go over, we go over.
That's the way I'm looking at it, Bill, in other words,
Right.
we have to, if we don't have to, then we don't.
Right. Gonna stand still.
No.
Well, that brings us to the next discussion of the planning for the future.
Yeah. So. The biggest things that I struggle with is the lack of material that we've got on all the roads. Every road that we grade, we roll up rocks, you know. There's no good surface material left on most all the roads. There's some places where there's some, it's very thin. So. Just to put it.
Go.
I think our recent weather patterns has taken a lot more away than we realize. Plowing, traffic. You name it.
Does it
Every,
say in?
I think it goes out.
Big rigs push it out.
They push it out, traffic pushes it out. If it gets dusty and fines blow away, that it just goes away. So. Grading is super important to try to keep pulling it in as much as you can before it gets away from you, but when it rains all the time, there's only so much you can do. But anyway, just to put into perspective how much it costs. If we wanted to resurface every road in the town, every dirt, 50 miles of the dirt road, 1 inch of gravel, which is just a skim coat, you know, it's not enough to really amount to. It would cost about $260,000. If we wanted to do 6 inches of it, 50 miles would be almost 1.6 million. So that's what we're up against. And they certainly all could use 6 inches of gravel.
You know, I kind of rotate, same as paving, you know. West Hill wasn't done too many years ago, and it's actually in pretty good shape, so you just kind of keep rotating. That it's like doing the dishes, you never get done.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, by the time you get back to where you started, hopefully there's still something left. But there's quite a few places there's just nothing. And
So then you have to pick those.
we do. The kicker is our gravel budget, what was it, 60,000, 50,000 this coming year, I think. So mud season can really eat up a ton of that. Really fast. If you have a bad mud season, you can burn $20,000 in stone pretty easily. That only leaves you with 30,000 left. If you use some of that on ditch stone or on riprap, if you've got a spot that's washed out or whatever, it eats into it really fast.
How well is the pond road? Because we had what, 3 inches put on that from.
Gravel, as far as gravel goes, I put a lot on the Elmore end last year. So that end's not too bad. And we put a pretty good coat on this end. Up to like where Don Vane's old house was. Put a fair bit up through there last year after we did that grant order. The flats is probably the worst section right now, and that could use a good 6-8 inches all the way across there.
We have a grant in for that.
Yes, we do, right, yeah. I think this is the second, because I put in for it last year too.
And that's what, a 4-mile stretch?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What do you use that line item that says gravel. What is that for?
Which one, gravel, sand, clay?
Oh, well, in here it says gravel. But it probably should, it's not winter sand, but.
Is it like $8,000?
Yeah, it went up to 12,500.
I usually use that for mud season. First. I'm not sure why it's separated in there, Linda. It's been like that since I started here.
Yeah, it always has been too. I always wondered too. I didn't know if that was stockpiled.
Maybe. I try not to stockpile any if I don't have to, just because they're handling it one last time. It's just more efficient to take it out of the pit and put it on wherever you need it.
I think in the past, pits never opened like they do now.
Oh, okay.
They were closed to a certain time and you couldn't even get it.
If the pits were further away, then I probably would do that, but as close as it is right here, it just makes more sense. Just go there, get your load and bring it to wherever it needs to go rather than dump it and reload it again.
Yeah, because Grimes is usually open by May 1st.
Right. Gravels has been open now for a few weeks in there. At least.
So, when you're doing your budget with Michelle next time, maybe talk about dumping that into a construction rather than having that line
Have it
item
separated.
if you're not really using it. I mean,
Yeah, like I said, I just use it for mud season. It's always been in there that way, so.
With one more, vehicle budget or vehicle.
Oh, yeah, vehicle repairs. We do, so crew tries to make repairs first, which we certainly do. We do quite a lot, anything that we can do. But a lot of some of these new things are getting so much electronics in them.
right,
You can only work on so much, so.
special tools.
Yeah. So our repairs budget was at 45 and it's reduced to 40. Just to replace the set cutting edges on all three of those trucks with new shoes is about $18,000. So that's nearly half of our budget just to replace cutting edges on the trucks, and then we've got the grader, cutting edge, loader, cutting edge, excavator. Those are just wear items. That's not even break things.
Would it be worth having an Excel spreadsheet broke down of all those items in there, so it's a lot clearer to see?
Sure. The price of them and.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Even a maintenance log,
Yeah.
maintenance logs for each vehicle.
Yep.
We can associate price with it. I did want to say that the road inventories that Dylan was tasked with doing, are almost complete.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, the ditch one's complete.
ditching and culverts are almost complete.
I've just got a few culvert stuff to check.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Alec, we can send those off to you or to somebody, or you can just grant me access so I can start to upload the suggestion. I can send a spreadsheet to the state.
When we have our budget hearings, we're looking for money. This is when you have to speak up and educate us because we don't know how much they cost.
I'll try.
We think of like, oh,
I mean,
that looks like a lot of money. We'll take some there.
the way things have increased so
Yeah.
wildly in the last few years, it's unbelievable.
It'd probably help easier to keep track of your the budgeting overall if you did know the items you need and you kind of figured it out. So it's a lot easier, make it a lot easier.
Yep.
Then you get in, then when it came to budgeting, because
Have an idea where we're gonna be. Yep.
May want to set up a line item just for cutting blades.
Yeah, we could separate it just for wear parts.
Because it's a constant wear every year, no matter what, so you may want that just as a line item.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah,
We were looking at both Craftsberry and Eden's maintenance budgets, and they were, I think Eden was, one of them was about 8,000 and one was about 120, I thought, just for maintenance.
right.
Right, but this would separate it out so you know you're gonna spend 20,000 just on cutting edges every year. Knowing that, then when you go and you say repairs, I don't consider cutting edges repair,
Right.
it's replacement.
Right. Yeah, great.
It's, you know, like chloride, it's like your salt, your sand,
Right.
it's a necessary item.
Yeah,
So we wouldn't have cut that deep into that area
yeah,
with a line item separating that out.
yeah.
There might be one more cost of chloride.
Yeah, moving forward, obviously, we're gonna try to spend as little as possible. The only thing that I'm really can foresee that we might need is chloride. If we go on Greater Road and it turns to dust, we've got to spray them. We try to pick our days if we can. If it's kind of wet, like tomorrow morning will be good and we won't need to use any, but if you get a dry streak and you've got to go on Greater Road, you got to spray it.
It's not gonna happen for a long.
I don't know, it hasn't happened for 2 years. So that's the only thing that I can foresee right now.
Thought about that the other day. Wondering if you were gonna do a rain dance or buy more chloride.
I definitely ain't gonna do a rain dance.
Don't you, don't pull it with the one ton though? Do you pull it?
We put it, yeah, last year we put it in the back. We had a trailer for it that we used to tow it around. That thing rotted out. We rebuilt it when I first got here. Last year, it's all rotted out again. So I kind of want to do away with that trailer. So we've been putting it just in the back of the ton truck, spraying with the ton truck. Another reason we need a ton truck.
The rate?
Yeah, and the rate.
Are there any like easy seeable power connector plugs on that ton truck you could see by the bottom?
Underneath it,
Yeah, so water can get into them.
I've looked at pretty much all of them that I could find. Fiddled with them.
What make is it?
It's a Dodge.
2017 for minus.
It is.
For minus.
I think the dealer told me it was a 60.
Does that have the power box underneath and back of the cab?
The ECU is mounted to the side of the block.
But it really should be then. Gave those 6 years and no.
So it's like, I expect a problem. It's probably something stupid, a bad wire or something somewhere. But without having like some sort of computer or something that you can plug in and figure out where the break in it is, I could spend countless hours trying to find it.
We're trying to tear apart the wiring harness to go find where it is.
We tore the dash out, checked all of them up in there.
Yeah,
Can't figure it out.
you need a dealership to go with their diagnostics.
Right.
I had a guy can't remember what the car was. Tried everybody's, DSL and all of them, and there's thing just said wiring and went to the dealership said, that's just wiring in here.
Yeah, I think they've got programs.
They got the
can use to
program
see where
to
the break
compute it
is
through the
powered.
wires and.
Yeah.
So it may be cheaper to go that route if you can get them to do it. Rather than waste a couple weeks.
I'll start with Steve and see if he'll come diagnose it at our shop. Okay. Secretary.
Okay.
I think that's all I've got. You got anything else, Michelle?
So you had, Michelle said you had some questions on the equipment payment schedule.
Oh, yeah,
Wondering why the payments were changed. It's because we pay off some of the vehicles. Some of the
okay.
equipment. Um,
So this ending balance is what we have at the end of each of these fiscal years
yes,
available.
that gets rolled over and puts back in, stays in the equipment.
It just gets rolled into the next year.
Yeah, so then the appropriation plus your ending balance gives you your available cash to
Okay,
pay your bills.
okay,
But these are, Dylan, these are going down only because we haven't included the new leases, because it's like we're needs to talk about
oh, yeah, okay.
the lease schedule.
So those are up in the air. Those numbers are up in the air. Yes.
It's just a draft, a guesstimate.
Yeah,
You know, we need to kind of know. It seems like the next 3 years are awful.
yes. That's the way I read things.
If we bought too many vehicles, too many pieces of equipment all at once.
Agree.
Um, So we need to work on a new equipment schedule, updated from when Chris did it.
Yeah,
Do you know today? We won't go into deep discussion about what you anticipate in the future,
as far as what?
replacement.
Replacement, my trucks. So I think whenever we discussed ordering the new truck and replacement for Joey's, my recommendation. We were supposed to take the delivery of this new truck in July of this year, and I think my recommendation at that time was that when we took delivery of that truck this July, we should order mine because they're 2 years out.
So what year is Joey's that we're replacing?
That's a 16.
And yours is 18?
Yeah, that's right.
And we bought 23 and 24. So that should probably be in 31. 7 years,
Which truck?
23.
Yeah. I think the 7-year cycle is the way to go. That seems like when we start seeing them. We start having a lot of headaches with them.
So we were trying to, I wasn't involved in any of this lease stuff at all. Kurt did it all.
Mhm.
You don't recall why he thought it was better to lease versus
No, I
the
don't.
loan out?
I don't. Me and Michelle were talking about that today. I don't remember why.
You lease them, don't they, is it a 5 year?
I think you
No,
can
5 years, they're gonna fix it.
warranty.
Warranty,
I
isn't
think
it?
warranty is on it for 7 years.
Okay, that's probably why he did it, so
You can purchase a truck
at the end.
and, well, no, you can purchase a truck, and get a 7-year warranty on it. Like my truck had a 7-year warranty. It's out now. It's past warranty. But and I think the last time I looked into it, that 7-year warranty was like 15 or 17 grand, something like that. I'm so right, I'm sure it's higher than that.
And weren't you saying that possibly you went lease route because it's hard to finance over 7 years?
Yeah, I was gonna look into the state statute to see how long. I'm not sure if it's a state statute or the banks weren't just offering that longer period to pay it off or what?
You
I have to
think,
do some research.
you think that's why he did that?
Down and ask them.
Yeah. He told me about it one day, but I cannot remember.
A lot of your cars in that now are 6 to 7 year.
What's that?
A lot of your cars and trucks now are 7 year, 6 to 7
Oh,
years.
yeah.
So expensive.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, basic truck now is pretty close to 70, 80,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have people waiting. We'll have another meeting and talk about, moving forward and updating this equipment replacement schedule.
Good.
Anything else?
Good for me.
Okay,
When are you guys starting?
Six, yeah.
Maybe probably in March.
Oh, yeah. Go would be in the greater somewhere. It's not raining.
I'll get there by 6.
Uh,
I'll be there by 6 to see somebody.
okay, you might be there and gone already.
Alex, you're up. You're here to talk to us about a contract for the 2027 Vermont Road inventory, erosion inventory.
So, the town is required by, the state to have a completed road erosion inventory by October 31 of 27. You guys have a Better Roads Cat A grant for that work to be done. The state isn't giving a whole lot of money for those, certainly not enough to hire a consultant to do it. So LCPC is offering to do that work for you. You would be reimbursed by the state for 80% of that contract amount. Which I don't, Michelle, do you have an amount on that, what that grant was for? I think it was $8,000-ish.
It's $7,104.
Is that what they're gonna pay? And then we
Well,
pay,
and our in-kind is $1,776.
Our total,
say that again, 7,000.
It says the, cumulative award is $7,104. And then it says an in-kind match is $1,776.
our goal is that we would complete this year. So, that grant, as well as the contract I wrote up for you guys, does have an end date of October 31, 27. Mostly to just align with the grant that you guys have in hand, but it also, there's a chance that we spill into spring of next year, just given the amount of field work we have going this summer. We're only doing 2 towns a year, so you guys are one of 2 towns for this first year. And we do hope to finish that up for you guys. It's worth noting this data goes into a lot of the grant work that Michelle and Dylan work on. Yearly grant aid, Better Road grants rely on this data, so. Yeah, that's what I've got for you. Linda has the contract there. If you want to work with us, and we'll get started as soon as we can.
You do the report that's required.
Yep, so we will, assist you guys like we normally do with the grant management piece. This one specifically, there's not a huge amount. The deliverable is the database, which the state has, and we just update what we're in the field. So
Yeah,
not a real deliverable on anyone's part, other than us just going out and collecting the data. And then, we can help you get the reimbursements.
so we're gonna pay you $7,104.
So I think in the contract you have, it should be those two numbers combined, because it'll include your match.
Okay, $8,880.
That is a not to exceed amount for that contract. If we run over, we will just take it out of our state funding to finish it up for you guys. Personal opinion was the state was being stingy on these grants, but
Okay, so Alex, representing the Long County Planning Commission is, they are willing to be the contractors completing the town road erosion inventory. As outlined in the grant that we obtained from the Better Back Road to complete this inventory that's due by 2027. You have any discussion on that, concerns, approval?
We recommend that we approve this. Wait a minute, please. When would we be getting the reimbursement?
so as soon as the work is done, I believe you can request a reimbursement. You certainly will not have to wait till 2027.
Michelle has the grant. Michelle applied for the grant money.
Right. But I'm saying, even if you get the work done by October, when would we expect the funds to come back?
So for the Better Roads grants, so like I said, we'll apply for the reimbursement as soon as the work is done. We're done billing to it. It's usually a month or two post, that request. I can't speak to exactly how long they take to process those, but it's fairly quick.
So we could still get back in this next fiscal year.
I have some recollection that we already, when we voted to apply for this grant, when Alec brought it to us to apply for it, didn't we vote to allow LCPC to actually manage it for us? I'm just trying to find it in my minutes now, but.
The management might be something different, Michelle.
Oh,
just
okay.
because this is actual data collection, it's doing the work, not just managing the grant.
Oh, I see. That's
But,
how you presented it before too, though,
okay,
but I'm not able, it's gonna take me a bit to find it.
I know we didn't have a contract in place, so I guess regardless, this will finalize a contract for the work to be done.
Yeah. Make a motion that we go ahead with this. Question.
Do we have a second? So we have a first and second to approve, hiring LCPC to conduct our road erosion inventory. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
No, I just didn't want it to be a couple of years like the feds.
No.
We try to be a little faster than that.
Or never see it.
Use of town office conference space.
So I may have mentioned to you guys in passing. I just applied for a license with the state of Vermont Department of Motor Vehicles to be a driver's ed instructor. And in order to start running my own classes, I need to present a suitable classroom space for which this meeting room would fit. So I thought I could ask the town to make an agreement for me to start my first class, which I'm planning to hold in August. I haven't set the specific dates until I have this agreement in place. But my plan is for a 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. class during the day, since school is out for the beginning of the first 3 weeks of August at least. And possibly the last week of July might be involved. And it would be 32 hours total time in the room. And actually use of the hybrid meeting system on occasion. And I'd like to start with that one class, see how it goes, and then if the select board's agreeable to giving it a try, we could potentially extend it in the future after that. Say. Be 4 weeks ending Monday through Fridays. End of July. Starting July 28th. And running through August 23rd or so. August 22nd.
That's daily, Monday through Friday.
Daily Monday through Friday wouldn't be every single day because that would need 32 hours and 2 hours blocks. So it would be 16 days out of those 20. I don't know which day of the week I would skip, but that'll also give me the flexibility to work around any potential conflicts. We can miss a day here and there.
This is in the morning.
Yeah, that was 10 a.m. to noon. And it's just classroom time for drivers that I'd be doing driving outside. If nobody minds, I might have students meet me here, maybe in the parking lot over here, and we be gone. Just for the convenience of the same location. I don't have really any idea what the town would look for that, but you know, a rental facility, we need use of the room, bathrooms. I think that'd be it.
Thoughts?
Well, I think since he's done so much as far as Skype and setting up all the computer things, I think the first session, we'll see how it goes, let him have it for free, and then discuss, see how it works as far as other meetings and so forth go.
We're all in agreement, sounds good.
Yeah.
So the first, your first block session will be a trial run and you can have the room for free, and if it works out, then we'll negotiate further.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. We thank you.
All right, we'll put this through a different kind of test. This is.
Michelle.
Hey, real quick, I mailed the certified letter, we had the trash issue on at 213 Morning Hill. So I mailed a certified letter, which was received, and also I mailed snail mail. And so I've given that person 30 days before we start issuing tickets or citations. I think that's our research, and that's the proper way to begin dealing with that situation. I also emailed a letter from Vermont DEC regarding North Wolcott Road slope stability. The report we received from the geologist. Upon Linda's recommendation, I emailed it to Michelle Redmond, Ross Gowan, Ben, his last name, and Megan Rodier. Okay. And then I followed up with Michelle Redmond requesting a meeting to discuss weight limits and road closure options if that road fails. And I'm waiting to hear back. Hopefully she can come to one of our subsequent board meetings. Just so we can start that discussion. That's what you had all asked me to do at the last board.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she will. She usually comes in the day, but we'll see.
Okay.
She might.
After looking at the report and where it described all the depths of what's there, then going driving down the North Wolcott Road, you start seeing all the spots that washed out, like by Richards, all that gravel. Or any of the other spot in the village that went the hill fell down around the house. How much of the rest of that road is just like that?
I think, was it Alec that or no, it was Conrad.
Oh,
They
right.
sent that thing out for scope of, things to look for. And that was one of the things that I recommended was to have the rest of that river analyzed, all those slopes.
Cause I think all the way
There's a
back,
lot of them that have been
I
complicated.
think every way back way towards Richards all the way through there is about the same for what I see. Cause then we washed up, it's gravel right from there. And it's just going right through that clay,
Yes,
digging right straight down through it.
and there hasn't been any break in it for long enough for any vegetation to take hold of those riverbanks again. It's just gonna keep going until things grow back.
I know Mr. Fisk's losing a lot of property, and that they're losing a lot of property out there on that Anthony Lane.
That brings it up because on the Lamoille River, by the old Phelps house, planted all sorts of trees to hold the erosion. The beavers have cleaned them all off. Well, they used to put the cages around them. They didn't put the cages around them. They got to be this big. Beavers mowed them up this spring.
So we were gonna talk about the report at the next meeting, because Michael's not here. I wasn't gonna really get into depth with it. Talk about some of their recommendations. It'd be great if Michelle could like at least zoom in and be part of that.
I was hoping.
Yeah,
And kind of set the meeting unless she can accommodate us. I have been working on the Wolcott transfer station recertification. It happens every 10 years. I was able to reach the state, Linda, and they did give us the guarantee that the landfill, the actual landfill that we closed, does not require recertification. The landfill received approval for custodial care in 2015. And when the new Vermont solid waste management rules were promulgated in 2020, new language was included to usher closed landfills into custodial care without needing to renew certifications. So from here out, we just need to submit for the transfer station recert every 10 years. So I'm working on that. As I said, the North Wolcott Road guardrails were installed on the 21st. They look great. It's right up.
By the town of Country Sheds. That section that was washed out last spring, I
It'd be extended by about 8-10 feet.
think it was like 60 feet.
Oh, okay.
It's quite a stretch. It's quite a stretch, yeah.
At least the rocks, it's like the whole river back, at least go
Yeah.
up there at least.
Yeah,
will it be part of that hazard mitigation grant if we get it?
We already paid for it. I mean, those have been in the works for like a year. That's what we.
Probably might not get the grant.
I don't think we did. They just extended them. I don't know if they installed brand all of them, did they?
the rail, they just extended the section that was washed out. The guardrail used to end where that washout ended, and so the river took a big portion of it, so we had to extend the guardrail.
Yeah. And that's, yeah. Um, I ordered and received the new E911 signs for the people who had ordered new addresses for 24 and 25. They're here, we're just waiting on the polls, we'll get those up. The contractor, the person who subcontracted for us, our maintenance man, is making progress. He's working on Elmer Pond Road, getting other signs up. The weather.
Getting them up,
Putting them up.
but we didn't find that piece.
He's putting them in. I think he's gonna invest in, he has a, yeah.
Well, we bought a 30 $30 post thing to put them in. We bought one.
We returned it, Linda.
No, that was the election.
No, we bought it with
That's
ARPA
me,
money.
one, just, I'll put it on it.
With ARPA money, we bought it.
It's
That's
just a
what,
manual, it's just a little, like.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But we can't find it anywhere.
We had one, but it was an old,
Yeah, this is the one we had.
well, we bought it, no, we bought it, 2 years ago. It shouldn't
oh
be
no,
that
that
old.
one I had was like,
The one I saw was all rusted,
right.
and that was the one that was in the shed. I haven't seen a new one.
Oh,
No, I haven't seen them.
sorry. He's making it work.
So far, he's making progress. We got us, I mean, he's contracted to do $4,000 worth now and then in July. I ordered in, I drafted the MOU between the town and the school to park the town and fire vehicles. We'll be talking about that in a few minutes. Linda and I submitted the local hazard management plan to the Vermont Emergency Management Department of Public Safety, so that's on its way. We should be able then to get maybe a change in our funding status for FEMA, hopefully. We'll know later. Dylan and I finalized the emergency sign inventory. I'm gonna now write a grant for, to VLCT. They fund up to 50% of a match. They'll give you 50% match for emergency signs. So I checked with them and they said, it's an ongoing grant. I can apply anytime and we don't have to use the funds for 6 months. So I can apply for it now and then use this, we can use our new sign budget in July. And then I sent in then just so you all know, I sent in the NEK fiber representative appointment form. So, a vacation. Lucky you.
Thank you. Memorial Valley Rail Trail kiosk map photo ideas.
So the rail trail, they're making the metal maps for every kiosk, and these are standard maps. They have standard photos that they will put into the map on the top. But they said if we have our own photos, if we have ideas, we can certainly submit our own. So if there are color photos that we would like that represent Wolcott, then we should come up with those photos fairly quickly. I did go through all of the photo submissions for the town report, and there are some that are nice. I would just like the board to share any ideas if you have any, or photos that would be on our maps on both of our kiosks.
Yeah, they were famous for the Fisher Bridge. That's what I was thinking too.
We have a pretty black and white, I can see if I can get it in color. Not just the drawing, because I don't know that the drawing would be cool. I want to do Fisher Bridge on the other side, the sketch of it, but I'm not sure the sketch would look appropriate with 3 color photos, you know. So someone submitted a Fisher Bridge beautiful photo. I can see if I can get it in color. Anything else?
There now?
Pardon?
For their town?
No, for the town report.
Oh,
Anything else?
Was there some, was we releasing a good picture of the railroad? He's like,
The depot.
depot maybe, something like that.
The light rail? We had some fun photos of dogs and, I don't know. The photos that they have now are just kind of, people enjoying the trail.
Too bad there's not one of like a train in the depot or something back just to work somewhere.
We are doing on the reverse side of the new kiosk, a history sort of map with the history, like a display. So we could do the depot on the back side. If you have any ideas, send them to me fairly soon and I'll get them over.
so this isn't part of Mike's? Is this part of your grant?
Yes.
that you're doing? No.
Well, it's part of the whole rail trail commission. But this is,
Well, seeing as you're doing it on the whole depot foundation, shouldn't there be a picture of that on there somewhere?
but this is a standard map that,
Oh.
so.
It's a map?
Yeah, it goes, so it's a map and then it has 4 pictures along the top.
Oh,
And you can change out those pictures. So the map will go here at both locations, at the trailhead as well as at the parking lot.
Should get a picture before we do anything. We should get a picture of it before we do anything. Picture of the old foundation right now, something like a camera will really take a picture of it.
You think it would show well for a photo?
Sure. That's cool, at least,
if nothing else, it's history.
Yeah, it is.
that's what you would quick.
Okay. And the next one, the mudslide debris flows onto roadways. Dr. Jonathan Lenz has asked V-Trans to give us examples of mudslides and debris flows that impact town roads during heavy rains, including those in 23 and 24. UVM is working with V-Trans to develop a debris flow hazard identification and monitoring program in response to the increased frequency of these in Vermont. So they're seeking sites to visit for information on slopes, steepness, soils, groundwater, and local knowledge of the damage and cleanup. And so they're looking for any town that has any recommendations. I didn't know if the board had any ideas. Do we have all of them?
We don't have any landslides on town road.
No.
Only years ago, we had one on the Gulf Road, but not
Nothing
recently.
on Wolcott?
That has been pretty well stoned up, that's why it doesn't slide.
Our crew behind the PEX, we got a call there. And
Where?
behind the PEX, Brook Road,
In 23,
yeah.
I was there.
And the other one was Wolcott.
Yeah, but it didn't go onto the
didn't go on
road.
the
That's what I was thinking. We have this wonderful report. On the North Wolcott Road, but once we said it went on the road.
No, the only one that we've had is like Dylan said is on the Gulf Road.
Right.
Before you get to the transfer station.
Right.
That's been pretty well fixed. Taken care
Was
of.
the house up in North Wolcott qualified when the next big rain comes?
The one that's on is not on the road.
It's not going to go on the road, Jim. Plus water gets that high, it floats it.
You can ask them to clarify if it has to really be on impact town roads or not. I mean, we have them, but have an impact town roads that I can think of.
Been years. Been years.
Because North Wolcott Road would qualify if it's a slide going underneath, I mean, potential slide.
Not that big forward in Tamarack on the town.
That's what I was thinking. I never, excuse me, I never went down that road, so I don't know what it looked like, but it was so bad.
It was just washed away, though, it wasn't like,
It was washed out.
it was washed out, it wasn't.
The only one I,
The only thing that's coming to my mind is like Sand Hill,
yeah, same deal.
those slopes slide into the ditches really bad, they haven't come into the road, haven't let it go.
Yeah,
That's
you got
one that really-
from Mark Mays up to set that crossroad. I can't think of the name of that crossroad.
Baldwin Brook, and then the very last end of it's probably the worst part of that whole road.
Oh, yeah, up where it meets Westfield.
Yeah.
It's the only road I know of that would cause any problems if you've got a heavy enough rain in that area.
The only real bad debris we had was on the Elmer Pond Road. It wasn't that bad, but
Really related to still cuts, you know.
Yes. There's one on Elmer Pond related to,
No, that's from the river.
with Sand Hill, that's related.
That's the one that's coming to my mind.
Yeah, it's the only one I can think of. Unless you were to really dig it back and put stone on it.
Yeah, I'd be the only way to fix it. Still retaining wall.
And then, we have to sign, is it, Linda, is it all signatures? I can't recall, for the warrant to impound unlicensed dogs.
it's an annual thing.
Is that everybody?
Yes, yes.
For the majority. 3 signatures,
Pardon?
just 3 signatures can do it.
Whoever's here, everybody's name's on it.
You've got in front of you the copy of the school street water rent policy.
Is it, the usual stuff you've been doing last couple of years?
Well, we had the meeting with them, remember, and there was the back and forth about, they were upset because we fixed Mr. O'Driscoll's water line from the road to his house, and we had the lawyer read over, they gave us all these old policies, that they had, and we said we weren't gonna, our lawyer said we didn't need to follow them because they were school policies, they weren't our policies, his opinion. So we asked Michelle to make us a policy on the use of the water. Our policy, moving forward. We don't have anything.
See anything that shows up as. All makes sense.
Yeah.
The part that is highlighted in gray or yellow, depending on what copy you got, are just the lines that I wanted us to discuss. Or at least have your, second or third set of eyes on.
That was the old school on your list of property users.
It's not hooked up. Everything's disconnected over there.
They're
Electric, sewer, water.
gonna have to put a new one on anyways, what they want. Forever, later anyways, so.
That's why I'm wondering if it should be on there now.
Well, if it was used for a public building, I don't believe you can have a spring.
The water system of some sort. The cafe has to be on the water system of some sort.
But you could always put in a filtration system.
You can, but I don't know what the rules are. That was my understanding.
I bet it has to be chlorinated or something like that,
You can't
checked and chlorinated, tested, all that. You're gonna
have a spring.
Well, with the new system.
Some banks won't even lend people money for their home if they have a spring.
How are we gonna get a cafe then this year?
Wow.
Well, the last time they drilled the well, they got
Well, they
ours.
have a well now. Yeah, it's the library's uses the town well.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
So the school building will use the town well as well?
I mean, if it's
I don't know.
if it's arsenic, it's like,
Probably not.
if it's arsenic, you literally can get treatment and take the arsenic
It's
out.
not arsenic, it's that horrible sulfur smell.
Yeah.
You can put treatment on that.
Yeah, we did it to town hall.
Yeah, they just use UV light and that to kill the bacteria and whatever else. they
You
do.
mean it's their carbon filter. Never know the difference.
Well, we can all, this is a policy, it's not an ordinance, it doesn't go before the voters or anything, so at any point, we can add or subtract, to this, just in a meeting like that.
I just noticed attachment B, there's a list. So yeah, this is not the sign. I just wanted to present it and then we can have a signature at the next meeting. Well, and then I do have the attachments if you'd like. I can spell them to attachments A, B, and C.
The one thing what I'd like to think about in more detail, it says the town is responsible for coordinating, overseeing all the maintenance and repair of the school system. And I would like to have that spelled out a little more detail. I mean, what was the town? Does that mean me? What does that mean? Does that mean the handyman?
The town hires to fix something.
Can we, have a little, water commissioners, committee? Right now, basically Phil Teal and Mark McCullough are overseeing it. And we really should, have more oversight over that, even though they feel like it's theirs, this, the water they use.
I'd be happy if they had a little commission where they could say, hey, let's have a meeting.
Right, just a thought, whether, a commission of 3 people who oversee it, who we give authority to oversee it and maybe set the rates and so forth and the maintenance of it, just a thought. Otherwise, it's another job for us to do.
Also better if some users are involved, because they are the
Right.
ones that have a foot in the actual.
That's what I was thinking, like 2 users and a select board member. Would be like a lot, it's not a lot of work to it, but it would just meeting a couple times a year and make sure that, they put hay bales on it in the winter, I know, they watch the overflow. Make sure it's
Sounds almost then you need a quarterly, keep up with the seasons,
right.
not a semi, but a quarterly. One for the spring, summer, fall, winter.
That was my thought, rather than just leaving it quite vague. Because otherwise, who's gonna do it?
And you.
You.
Sure. Sure.
Commission
I'm
is,
not sure about it twice a week. They're thinking it's a commission or a committee.
I think the statute allows it,
I think it's commission, is what they use this for.
yeah, I have to look that up. I have the one on, I looked up how you know,
Similar word to the wastewater stuff, it's like it's commission something.
about if you disconnect someone from water, there's a whole process. And if they're late, you have to, there's a whole process in here. You even have to send the bill, the delinquent bill on a pink piece of paper.
Okay.
That should, that probably want, you probably want to definitely have that attached with it, the statutes.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
It's state statute title 24, chapter 129.
Oh, but we referenced.
Uniform water and sewer disconnects. They also, it tells you how, you know, what you can and can't do
What
for
times of year?
disconnecting someone from not paying their bill.
So it's ESA 129, did you say?
Title 24,
Okay, that's fine.
municipal and county government, chapter 129. Fifty-one, 41, it goes on the whole chapter, printed out.
Well, let me work on adding that language and then send it out to y'all, and then maybe if you want, we can revisit.
So you can go on there and just see, you know, what the statute allows us in terms of setting up a water commission. What is, the maintenance fee may include those costs incurred in the previous years as well as project costs. My understanding is the water users, it's like a utility, like the transfer station. And that money can only be used for maintenance of the water system. And it can't be used intermingled in the general fund. And it shouldn't be taxpayer money that maintains it either.
Is
Is
there,
it called an enterprise?
is there anything in there about a reserve fund? Cause you can do up to like 15%, I think it is, of your yearly budget for a reserve fund for repairs if you have.
So you would charge more, or you would just carry it over the reserve fund?
Well, it's always carried over because it can't go anywhere.
Right.
It has to stay there, is what I'm trying to say. It has to stay in there. It
Has to
doesn't
stay.
disappear.
As stay in that fund as is.
Right.
Or there
Um,
should be definitely some wording of maintaining a reserve fund in there.
But you could add that, you know, that the fees will include 15% for reserve fund for future maintenance.
What happens to the other fees that aren't used, then they just.
They sit in there, if they're there, then that's all it can be ever used for. So you set the fee, you know, if like you have a lot of money in there, you might have a fee of nothing, or $5. It's only $25 now. But you're allowed to save up to how much? Is it, there isn't a.
I think it was like 50% of your budget of what you
15.15.
15%.
Well, we'll have to look in the statute. It tells you what we can and can't do. Anything else we should look at?
Add the verbiage and then send it out. The next item is the MOU. So I approached the school board, with the idea of parking the town vehicles and the fire department vehicles during the emergency, mainly during flooding up at the school. So, they said, yeah, it's been approved during one of the board meetings. We just needed to draft up an MOU. So this is the MOU that you have in front of you that I drafted. And I just wanted to get approval of this. I contacted the insurance company just to make sure what our vehicle insurance would cover and draft the building.
And you're gonna present this at the next meeting, is that when?
I'll send it to them.
Okay.
I present it to them then, so ignore the signatures, but once they approve it, then we can get signatures.
The MOU looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
It's clear.
that, look
Yeah.
perfect, yeah.
Kind of based it on the MOU that they drafted and just changed, the insurance and everything. And then if you can see it in red, those are the areas that you guys would really want to park this, right? Those are the areas that we would use. Like you know, I need to make that a little bit larger so they go from here around here. You don't have to fix the difference.
Yeah, they'll have a lot of truck.
We have a puffer tanker, one rescue.
Two bumpers. Or, no, three of them. Three bumpers.
Three pumper, one tanker, one rescue ambulance, and one utility trailer. And then Dylan, we have three dump, I know what we have there.
Yeah, just plus the grader, that's the only thing I see missing.
Oh, thank you.
This will require the signature of the principal and Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This who you not every.
I don't know.
There, the other MOU. I think required. Yeah, it was just one signature each. That's what I have here. Okay, then if I make these changes, do you want me to send this up to the school?
Sure.
Yeah.
Done before we have. Not having any. The next on the list is the cannabis retail license renewal. We had a renewal for the BB, whatever they're called. And the Cannabis Control Board said that the local control commission has 45 days from the date of this notice to inform the Cannabis Control Board of its decision regarding the applicant. Or after 45 days, the CCB can renew the license without input. And they're really just looking for any negative feedback that you've had or you've heard from the retail outlet on week 15. Is there any reason that you wouldn't approve the renewal?
Been quiet.
They're very busy, but it's very quietly busy. We need I don't know if we need I think I have to send a board motion.
That we have no concerns.
Yeah. Which said,
Make a motion that, local cannabis control board has no concerns with the establishment of these.
With renewing the license again.
Second, any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Request for free use of the town hall. The person that was going to do a close swap is now going to use the school. She's not going to use that town hall. So we can table that.
What's it being used for?
Someone in town wanted to have a clothes swap. One day you bring your clothes, the next day you come and get free clothes. But she's gonna use the gym at the school instead, so she doesn't need to use the town hall.
Oh, okay, well, that takes care of that.
So we all received this resolution request in the mail. Email. Just bringing it up because it was sent to the board, addressed to the select board. So I don't know how the board wants to deal with this. Yeah.
No, I just,
I got a copy of it. What is it a resolution for?
This resolution is asking resolution, they would like us to adopt the resolution condemning attacks on due process and affirming the constitutional rights of all people. Well, it says in Rutland, but Rutland did, the town of Rutland did adopt it.
don't we already have laws that cover that?
I guess what the problem is, we do have laws, but some people aren't abiding by them.
Well, I am,
People are disagreeing on their position
I
on the
urge
same
you as
document.
the governing body of the town will get to pass a similar resolution to show your own constituents and the people of the town of Wolcott at large that you value the protection of their constitutional rights and in particular, everyone's right to the due process of law is guaranteed to us all by the Fifth and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution. I suggest we just table it for now,
good, I mean, it doesn't
unless
sound
you're
like that.
interested in moving forward.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a bad idea, but you're right, we've had the laws on the books and they're not being well adhered to, especially in our center of government.
Or people who disagree on either side on their interpretation of it, but
Yeah.
like a lot of it.
Yeah, I think we should table it for now. I'm thinking about it some more.
Right, so tabling it doesn't mean we're throwing it away, and Michael's not here, so maybe we'll bring it up at another time. Or if our constituents or our public would like us to take it up at a further time, we can. Not really.
I think all they're trying to do is say people are being represented and the money is not going to their favorite position.
Well, what they're saying is that, that people are not, being afforded the due process, that is guaranteed by law. For citizens, immigrants, illegal immigrants, visitors, even criminals, whether they are a man, woman, or transgender, intersex, or non-binary person, whatever their race, creed, spiritual belief, or lack thereof. You know, that they all should have due process. And this person doesn't feel that's happening.
Liberty and justice for all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we know it's not happening.
I know.
What a resolution will do, I'm not sure.
It's just pretty much putting wallpaper on something to make it look better. It's like, want to fix it, kind of got to go to Washington and say, okay, guys, get together, both parties, and figure your problems out.
Table the resolution request, for a later discussion. Okay, we're in updates. So we closed on, the Woods property, as you know, last week. I had asbestos testing done on that and they did find asbestos, so I'm gonna have to have that removed. I filed our last ARPA report with the federal government, in time, so hopefully it won't claw any of our money back, take any of our money back.
I'm sorry, you did what?
The ARPA funds had to be spent by the end of the year, and I had to file the report by the end of April, which I did. Now, just at some point, have to do a closeout, but they're not ready for that. We received, so we picked an option for our parking lot out here, for the brownfields. We discussed it, that one on 15,
Okay.
the brownfields, and at a former board meeting, we picked which option we kind of like. So then that had to go back to the state, and the state has approved that. There is a meeting next Tuesday with the planning commission, asking the brownfields committee to approve $5,000 for them, for this engineer to write up the report on how to engineer, or how we're gonna quote the option there. I can't think of the word, I'm sorry. Come to me, but the report for the closeout. So it's the corrective action plan. We picked the corrective action plan. There were 3 of them. The state has approved that plan. Now we have to have the engineer do the work scope and cost proposal for the corrective action plan, and do a report. So $4,960 is the cost, and hopefully that the Brownfields Committee will approve that funding for that report. and we're getting near the end. In Mr. Wood's house, there is a stove that is electric. That Resource wouldn't take. It's in fairly good condition. I'm requesting that maybe that we bring it to our kitchen here. Because the one we have is from Arlo. And none of the burners work. It's horrible. If we could see if maybe the handyman would at some point bring, before we demolish the house, bring it over.
Yeah, I can see it appropriate it.
Yeah. Lighten alone.
Otherwise, it's going in the garbage, I guess. And the last thing is, I had a request from the Athletic Association. They were a bit perturbed that the parking lot that was rebuilt over at the ball field on School Street is like 2/3 smaller than the original parking lot, and they couldn't get any parking in there. They said it went over a bit.
Well, to use what was parking area paved, put in
Their court.
the court. So
Whatever.
what do you want us to do?
Well, they were upset that the parking lot was so small when we
I mean,
repaired it. So
now they
I'm
could
gonna tell you
use,
what they want us to do.
now they could use what used to be Benny Bloom's.
That is their request, and
To me, it would be the thing to do.
want to know if, so I suggested too, I went on and I walked them over there and I said, well, how about we try to make this a parking lot?
So we can't do anything to it but mow it.
Right, so, but what I wanna do is, get, the board's permission to write to the state and ask if we can make it a parking area over there.
I think, did they fill in the septic tank?
Yep. And the cellar hole, they had.
Right, I know they filled in the cellar hole, but
Yeah, they had-
in front of the cellar hole was the septic tank, so I don't know if they cleaned that up and filled
Yeah,
it
they
in.
had to crush it up, they had to pump it, crush it up and fill it. I have pictures of it. It is a bit bumpy up there, it could have been smoothed out, I know that they did it in the winter.
Isn't this the one Larry said he wanted to clean up? Didn't he say it was done not very well, and he wanted to just get in there and clean it up?
Well, Ben,
Oh,
he's just gonna take the pole out for me. Larry,
Larry is gonna take the pull out, yes.
so can I have permission to ask the state permission to have a parking area over there? Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
At their own risk.
What, do you know the?
Well, because if they park too close to the road, it goes up the
well,
hill,
I don't think they were
it's
gonna,
too swampy.
I don't think they were gonna park over there.
No, but I'm just saying, if they get enough people
No,
and they park
I don't
there,
think
it's
they were
gonna
gonna-
sink.
McCurney Road, they weren't gonna park, they were gonna move more over near their house, because then they can walk across the street, it's a lot more convenient, actually.
But I mean, that's my only thing, is just let them be aware if they park off on Kearney Road, it's gonna sink.
What's the lot number? Do you know the address?
That I'm sorry,
462,
reminds me, the ball field and not Wolcott. That parking lot is way too small.
well, because it's in the floodplain and you're lucky we could even get it.
Geez.
That it was, we couldn't hardly get, permission to build, it was a big fight.
Well, I got you here. Do you know the date that the railroad station was moved, what year it was?
Tom does, he did all the research on it.
Was that?
Tom does, he did all the research on it,
Yeah.
and he got the deed, it was in the 50s,
Yeah,
50s?
yeah.
I thought.
I was a young pup.
I don't know, it's that far back. I always thought it was the seventies or something.
I did too, and I kept telling him that, and,
Well, it was in the seventies when they tore out the rail and cut up the cars.
Yeah.
Because Bob. What's his last? Robert. What was the guy who used to have the jump?
Saban,
No, down on,
Moody?
no, down in towards Stowe.
Oh, I don't remember.
Think of the last name.
S
in June 7th, 1951.
51, wow.
Yeah, I can send you this. He just did a whole history of this whole area. He's been doing a lot of research on that. If you send me it.
Because that railroad wasn't thrown up. I remember when Morris and Newson,
No,
remember they went in and put in all the signals, all those little railroads and they pulled out.
and he found
Robert Davis.
the first train to pull into Wolcott was on October.
I think the railroad should still be there first.
Yep.
It should, but it couldn't.
So,
Ruined it when you put the 100-ton.
I'll send you this
Oh, yeah,
document.
too heavy for-
Wait till it was only designed for 60, so the
When
railroads are 80.
I
When
was.
they put 100-ton locomotives on and it's still, you know.
Yeah,
You bet, right?
well, start, Mike.
Yeah, they had Robert Davis in the 70s, cut up the cars. The plow, caboose,
I guess I don't have.
and
Morris Street.
one of the locomotives are in North Conway.
I remember the old diesels that were in use in the 50s.
Electric diesel.
Yeah,
First generation ones.
I used to ride,
No,
cost me a quarter round trip.
What did they do with?
Go from Margaret Green for a friend, spend the day with friends.
What's it used?
Round trip. And I was a kid, there was no
Post
starting.
62
When I walked the rail
on
line,
American
walk
Legion,
outside.
meeting hall.
Oh,
Because I knew with those
The
little
building
scraps
had
of
to be
paper were
moved
between the
to
rails.
location within
The toilets
60
pushed
days.
right out into the track.
And then.
It wasn't partial, this area.
If you don't-
Oh, yeah, you look down, you see the rails.
wow, I didn't know that. We never, I was here in the seventies, but I never ever heard of it. So that's interesting.
So there was like
All right.
4 or 5 box cars he cut up.
So I don't have anything
I don't
else.
know how they got those over there, the plow.
You know,
the
to-
caboose.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
See you later, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know how.
I make a motion.
No, wait a minute.
What?
I'd like to go into executive session.
Oh,
For why?
We never discussed what Jim was gonna get for a wage.
We can do it in the next meeting. We still have time.
Okay,
If you wish, or we can do it now. I've got.
Jim's coming on the road crew?
yeah, and we never discussed his wage.
What happened to the,
So I've seen a wage amount.
We never approved it.
who got done?
Huh?
Who got done?
Chan got it.
I think I would prefer to have it, I would prefer to have it,
What yet?
With the Craftsbury.
posted on the agenda as an
Good luck.
executive session.
Yeah,
You
okay.
have to put like person, why.
We can do that at the next meeting, Kurt, because he doesn't come on until the 29th.
Because we never said it. We discussed it.
When I presented the contract to him, I presented two of $2 amounts that had been discussed. And so I told him that it could be $1 amount starting, because that's what Michael proposed a while ago. And that we would increase it to the second amount, but it's that we would decide, and Joe was fine with it.
Right, but we had never,
Yeah, we'll do it, yes. We'll do it for this.
because what you got here for a figure
It's
of
about,
1,000 plus a week.
that's the higher dollar amount,
Right. And that would be almost,
the dollar amount.
no, what would it be at this rate that you proposed?
28.
That's why I would. need to discuss it.
Yeah, I just want to do it at the highest amount because we don't have that information. So,
Oh, you can, sir.
Well, damn right, thank you. I voted the motion to resign at the board meeting at 8:03 or 3:30 PM.
A second?
Somebody second, yeah. Wake up, boys.
see nodding, I don't see.
They don't want to go home.
Well, neither do I. But you don't have my brand of decaf
I would
coffee here.
second that. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye. That's all right. I don't play it.